Peter Grobler in T10 is 5th. The qualification session is at Slovakia Ring variant number 4 Duval in Orkovac, Slovakia. The wind speed is 9 km/h from the north-northeast. Jaco Wies from Namibia is P1. Tommy Glad from South Africa is P7. Guts from Namibia in T5 is P3. From South Africa in T10 is P2. Janine Glad from South Africa in T6 is P8. Jaco Wies is P1. Jaco Wies is up 13.25 in T2. Jaco Wies is up 13.84 in T4. Jaco Wies is up 14.34 in T8. Jaco Wies is up 14.42 in T11. Jaco Wies improved his P1 with a 209.969. Jeffrey Leroux is provisional pole with a 209.245. Peter Grobler is P4. Peter Grobler improved his third with a 212.203. 2.958 off pole. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Guts in T1 is 10th up 0.26. Peter Grobler is 3rd up 0.38. Best lap is a 2:12.203. 2.958 off pole. Dylan Conway from Netherlands in T4 is P5 up 0.79. Dylan Conway is up 0.86 in T8. Jaco Weiss in T10 is 2nd up 0.31. Peter Grobler in T9 is 3rd up 0.80. Dylan Conway in T10 is P5 up 0.25 driving a Hyundai. Peter Grobler is P3 up 0.92. Griesel from South Africa in T13 is P4. Brendan Griesel in T is P3 with a 2:10.031. 0.786 off pole. Willie Van Wyk from Namibia in T14 is P8. Michael Gear from Ireland is P9 up 2.20. Mike Gear is up 2.33 in T13. Janine Glad is P10 up 7.76. Dylan Conway in T12 is 6th up 0.67 driving a Hyundai. Peter Grobler in T13 is P5 driving Audi. Guts in T13 is 8th. Guts improved is 8th with a 2:16.266. 7.021 off pole. Willie Van Wyk in T13 is P9 up 0.27 driving Audi. Brendan Griesel is P3 up 0.25. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Brendan Gryasel is up 0.03 in T6. Tommy Glad in T7 is P7 up 0.13. Dylan Conway in T9 is P6 up 0.11. Dylan Conway is up 0.34 in T13. Dylan Conway improved his P6 with a 2:12.521. 3.276 off pole. Willie Van Wyck is P9 up 11.88. Mike Gear in T13 is 4th up 0.43 driving a Cupra. Mike Gear improved his P4 with a 2:10.286. 1.041 off pole. Dylan Conway in T6 is 6th up 1.25 driving a Hyundai. Dylan Conway is up 0.86 in T10. Dylan Conway is up 0.83 in T13. Dylan Conway improved his 6th with a 2:11.524. 2.279 off pole. The race session is at Slovakia Ring variant number 4 default in Orkova Poton, Slovakia. The wind speed is 5 km/h from the north-northeast. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Guts is P8. P5. Guts from Namibia in T2 is 5th. Peter Grobler is P7. Peter Grobler is now P6. Jaco Wies from Namibia is P2. Tommy Glad from South Africa in T8 is 5th. Peter Grobler is P6. Peter Grobler passed Tommy Glad for P5. Mike Gear from Ireland in T11 is P7. Peter Grobler in T13 is 5th. Tommy Glad in T14 is P7, 0.1 behind Mike Gear. Brendan Griesel from South Africa is 3rd, 0.5 behind Jaco Wies. Brendan Griesel is now 2nd. Jeffrey Eliru from South Africa is 3rd, battling Brendan Griesel. Jeffrey Eliru passed Brendan Griesel for P2. Brendan Griesel in T4 is 3rd, 0.2 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Grobler in T6 is P5, driving Audi, 0.2 behind Dylan Conway. Jeffrey Eliru is P2, 0.5 behind Jaco Wies. Peter Grobler is 5th, 0.1 behind Dylan Conway. Jeffrey Eliru in T14 is 2nd, 0.5 behind Jaco Wies. Dylan Conway from Netherlands is 5th, 0.1 behind Peter Grobler. Mike Gear is P6, 0.2 behind Dylan Conway. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Jeffrey Eliru in T3 is P2, driving 100, 0.3 behind Jaco Wies. P5, 0.1 ahead of Mike Gear. Mike Gear was 1.1 faster last lap. Mike Gear is P6 driving a Cupra, 0.3 behind Dylan Conway. Jeffrey Eliru on lap 3 is P2, 0.3 behind Jaco Weiss. Mike Gear is 6th, 0.5 behind Dylan Conway. Jaco Weiss from Namibia in T13 is P2, 0.1 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Jaco Weiss was 0.9 faster last lap. Brandon Griesel is 3rd driving a Cupra, 0.3 behind Jaco Weiss. Dylan Conway from Netherlands in T1 is P6, 0.3 behind Mike Gear. Jaco Weiss is P2. Best lap is a 2:10.139. Dylan Conway in T3 is P6, 0.5 behind Mike Gear. Dylan Conway lost 6th to Tommy Glad. Jaco Weiss in T8 is 2nd. Dylan Conway in T8 is P7, 0.4 behind Tommy Glad. Dylan Conway passed Tommy Glad for 6th. Jaco Weiss is P2, 0.3 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Brandon Griesel in T13 is P3, 0.4 behind Jaco Weiss. Guns entering the pits is 10th. Jaco Weiss is P2, 0.2 ahead of Brandon Griesel. Jaco Weiss lost 2nd to Brandon Griesel. Jeffrey Eliru is P1, 1.6 ahead of Brandon Griesel. Brandon Griesel is P3, 0.3 behind Jaco Weiss. Five minutes remaining in the session. Jaco Weiss is 2nd, 0.9 ahead of Brandon Griesel. Brendan Gryasel is P3 driving a Cupra, 0.5 behind Jaco Weiss. Jaco Weiss on lap 6 is P2, 0.3 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Brendan Gryasel is P3, 0.3 behind Jaco Weiss. Jaco Weiss is P2, 0.4 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Gryasel in T9 is third driving a Cupra, 0.7 behind Jaco Weiss. Jaco Weiss is P2 driving Audi, 0.4 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Brendan Gryasel in T14 is P3, 0.3 behind Jaco Weiss. Jaco Weiss in T1 is P3 battling Brendan Gryasel. Tommy Glad in T1 on lap 7 is P7, 0.5 behind Dylan Conway. Gryasel is third, 0.2 behind Jaco Weiss. Dylan Conway in T3 is P7, 0.3 behind Tommy Glad. Brendan Gryasel in T10 is third. Best lap is a 2:10.037. 0.168 off the fastest lap. Dylan Conway is 7th, 0.3 behind Tommy Glad. Brendan Gryasel is P3, 0.5 behind Jaco Weiss. Jaco Weiss is P3 battling Brandon Gryasel. Brandon Gryasel in T3 is third battling Jaco Weiss. Here in T6 is 5th, 0.8 behind Peter Grobler. Mike Gear lost P5 to Tommy Glad. Dylan Conway is 7th. The leader has just finished the race. Jeffrey Leroux finished first. Jaco Weiss finished P2. Brandon Gryasel finished P3. Peter Grobler finished P4. Tommy Glad finished 5th. Mike Gear finished P6. Dylan Conway finished P7. Janine Glad from South Africa finished 8th. The race session is at Slovakia Ring variant number 4 default in Orkova Poton, Slovakia. The wind speed is 9 km/h from the north-northeast. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Jako Wies is fourth. Jeffrey Eliru from South Africa in T1 is P2. Brendan Gryasel from South Africa in T2 is third. Peter Grobler in T3 is fourth. Tommy Glad from South Africa in T5 is P5. Jeffrey Eliru in T8 is P2. Peter Grobler is P4. Tommy Glad in T11 is sixth. Brendan Gryasel. Jako Wies from Namibia is second, 0.2 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Peter Grobler in T1 is fourth. Best lap is a 2:17.690. 1.270 off the fastest lap. Brendan Gryasel in T2 is third driving a Cupra, 0.3 ahead of Peter Grobler. Jeffrey Eliru in T3 is P2, 0.2 behind Jako Wies. Peter Grobler is P3, 0.3 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Jeffrey Eliru is second, 0.4 behind Jako Wies. Peter Grobler in T10 is P3, 0.5 behind Jeffrey Eliru. Jeffrey Leroux is second, 0.3 behind Jacob Weiss. From Netherlands in T13 is P7, 0.5 behind Tommy Glad. Jeffrey Leroux is second, 0.1 behind Jacob Weiss. Peter Grobler is fourth, 0.2 behind Brendan Griesel. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Dylan Conway is P7, 0.5 behind Tommy Glad. Dylan Conway was 1.8 faster last lap. Dylan Conway passed Tommy Glad for P6. Tommy Glad in T3 is 7th driving a Cupra, 0.4 behind Dylan Conway. Jacob Weiss in T7 is second, 0.2 behind Jeffrey Leroux. On lap 3 is 4th, 0.3 behind Brendan Griesel. Peter Grobler was 0.9 faster last lap. Mike Gear from Ireland is 5th, 0.4 behind Peter Grobler. Peter Grobler was 0.7 faster last lap. Tommy Glad is P7, 0.4 behind Dylan Conway. Janine Glad from South Africa is P9, 0.5 behind Willy van Wyk. Brendan Griesel in T1 is 3rd, 0.4 behind Jacob Weiss. Janine Glad is P9, 0.3 behind Willy van Wyk. Brendan Griesel in T3 is P3, 0.3 behind Jacob Weiss. Peter Grobler in T5 on lap 4 is P5, 0.3 behind Mike Gear. Tommy Glad from South Africa in T6 is P7, 0.2 behind Dylan Conway. Peter Grobler is 5th, 0.5 behind Mike Gear. Tommy Glad in T11 is P7, 0.4 behind Dylan Conway. Willy van Wyk from Namibia in T10 is 9, 0.5 behind Janine Glad. Peter Grobler is 5th driving out, 0.3 behind Mike Gear. Tommy Glad in T1 is P7 driving a Cupra, 0.3 behind Dylan Conway. Peter Grobler is P5, 0.5 behind Mike Gear. Tommy Glad from South Africa in T3 is 7th, 0.5 behind Dylan Conway. Peter Grobler in T6 is P5, 0.5 behind Mike Gear. Mike Gear was 1.0 faster last lap. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Tommy Glad in T8 is 7th, 0.2 behind Dylan Conway. Peter Grobler in T10 is 5th driving Audi, 0.5 behind Mike Gear. Mike Gear is P5. Brendan Griesel is P3 driving a Cupra, 0.2 behind Jaco Weiss. Mike Gear in T1 is 5th driving a Cupra, 0.3 behind Peter Grobler. Jaco Weiss in T2 is P3, 0.1 behind Brendan Griesel. Brendan Griesel was 0.8 faster last lap. Mike Gear in T3 is P5, 0.3 behind Peter Grobler. Jaco Weiss is P3, 0.2 behind Brendan Griesel. Mike Gear in T8 is P5, 0.5 behind Peter Grobler. Jaco Weiss from Namibia in T10 is P3, 0.4 behind Brendan Griesel. Mike Gear on lap 6 is 5th, 0.5 behind Peter Grobler. Jaco Weiss in T13 is 3rd, 0.1 behind Brendan Griesel. Dylan Conway is P7, 0.3 behind Tommy Glad. Tommy Glad was 1.5 faster last lap. Mike Gear on lap 7 is P5, 0.5 behind Peter Grobler. Dylan Conway in T2 is 7th, 0.3 behind Tommy Glad. Jaco Weiss from Namibia in T4 is 3rd, 0.4 behind Brendan Gryasel. Here in T8 is P5, 0.5 behind Peter Grobler. Jaco Wies from Namibia is P3, 0.1 behind Brendan Gryasel. Jaco Wies passed Brendan Gryasel for second. Brendan Gryasel is P3 battling Jaco Wies. Jaco Wies in T13 is P3, 0.1 ahead of Peter Grobler. Peter Grobler was 1.2 faster last lap. Jaco Wies lost third to Peter Grobler. Jaco Wies passed Peter Grobler for third. Peter Grobler on lap 8 is P4, 0.1 behind Jaco Wies. Peter Grobler passed Jaco Wies for P3. Jaco Wies is P4 battling Mike Gear. Jaco Wies lost P4 to Mike Gear. Mike Gear in T3 is P4 driving a Cupra, 0.3 ahead of Jaco Wies. Jaco Wies is fifth driving Audi, 0.3 behind Mike Gear. Mike Gear was 1.1 faster last lap. Mike Gear from Ireland in T8 is P5, 1.2 behind Jaco Wies. Mike Gear was 1.1 faster last lap. Mike Gear lost P5 to Tommy Glad. Dylan Conway in T9 is P7. Best lap is a 2:10.869. 1.725 off the fastest lap. Dylan Conway passed Mike Gear for sixth. The leader has just finished the race. Jeffrey Leroux finished P1. Brendan Gryasel finished P2. Peter Grobler finished third. Jaco Wies finished fourth. Tommy Glad finished fifth. Dylan Conway finished P6. Janine Glad finished P7. Willie Van Wyck finished P8.